And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Marvel Studios' Black Widow. Enjoy this special look. I've lived a lot of lives, but I'm done running from my past. I was an assassin, spy, an Avenger. Before that, I had a family.
On July 9th.
We have unfinished business.
We fight with you. The wait is over.
Ha! You okay?
Great plan. I love the part where I almost bled to death.
I'm done running from my past. Who the hell is that guy?
Why do you guys do that thing?
Do what?
That thing you do when you're fighting. And this thing that you do when you whip your hair when you're fighting with the arm and the hair, and you do like a fighting pose. It's a fighting pose. You're a total poser.
I'm not a poser.
It still fits.
Oh my God.
I never watched it once. Come and drink.
Rise, you workers of salvation. Family. Back together again.
Seeing as our family construct was just a calculated ruse that only lasted 3 years, I don't think that we can use this term anymore, can we?
Agreed. So here's what's gonna happen.
Okay, reunion then, huh? And, I want to say something right off the bat. You haven't aged a day, huh? You're just as beautiful and as supple as the day they staged our marriage.
You got fat, but still good.
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my new Black Widow trailer video. Marvel released a ton of new footage for the movie. I believe this is part of their plan to release the entire movie in like 100 short 2-minute clips between now and when it lands on Disney+. So be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I will be doing regular Easter egg videos for the movie, and it is coming out on Disney+ at the beginning of July, but you will be able to go see it in a movie theater if you do want to see it in a movie theater. But while I'm talking about this footage, I'll also talk about the Falcon and Winter Soldier connections because we learned about some deleted scenes or some original plans for certain characters from Falcon and Winter Soldier with big cameos that were supposed to happen during the Black Widow movie. But interestingly enough, it starts with Julia Louis-Dreyfus's Valentina character, Madame Hydra, Val, the Contessa, whatever you want to call her. After the Falcon and Winter Soldier finale, the producers said that originally her character was supposed to debut during the Black Widow film. Now, they didn't say exactly what she was going to be doing. It sounds like it was going to be something similar, but apparently they were just going to introduce her with a similar type of scene that we saw her on Falcon and Winter Soldier, where she introduces herself as a very mysterious figure, but she seems very powerful, but kind of sinister at the same time, and she's putting together this squad, this team of anti-heroes or villainous type characters. We're not going to need Captain America for some of this stuff. We're going to need a U.S. agent, like we see full-blown U.S. agent at the end of the series. So after Falcon and Winter Soldier, everyone was thinking that she would be tied to Thunderbolts in the MCU, and that was what they were implying throughout the series. So given that she was originally supposed to appear during the Black Widow film, maybe that has something to do with Taskmaster or Yelena Belova at some point. Like maybe originally she was going to show up at the end of that film in present day when the film sort of jumps forward in the timeline to after the events of Avengers Endgame, and you find out what's happening with the characters after the events of the Black Widow film. Like at some point, they have to find out that Natasha died on Vormir. So even though most of the film takes place in the past before she died, some of the film will probably jump forward in the timeline to after the events of Endgame. But that's meant to be the Falcon and Winter Soldier connection. Speaking of Taskmaster, though, there's a whole lot more footage in these trailers of Taskmaster and another Black Widow shout-out too. Who is that guy? So I will address all the Taskmaster theories, because especially in this new footage, it does seem like there's enough evidence to answer most of those Taskmaster questions. There's also a separate character actor who you haven't seen in any of these trailers yet, played by O.T. Fagbenle, called Mason. There's an important reason why you haven't seen him in the trailers yet either that I'll explain. But also, you could probably tell what they've done with some of this footage the last couple of months is polish it up even more. I think if you go back to my original Black Widow trailer video, the very first one from like 10 years ago, I think it was like 10 years ago when they released the first trailer. It seems like it's been 10 years. They also added a ton more special effects and visual effects for the Black Widow stingers. One of Black Widow's biggest trademark weapons in the comics is her Black Widow sting. It's an energy blast that just incapacitates people, like poison from a Black Widow spider. You get the reference. You can thank Stan Lee for that. But that's what the special red vials are for in the trailer. I think early on, a lot of people were wondering what these vials were supposed to be, if it was connected to the Super Soldier Serum plot because of the Falcon and Winter Soldier connection, Weapons Plus, and them trying to remake a new version of the serum. But the vials are just meant to be fuel for the Stinger weapons, as you can see across the trailer. Like Taskmaster uses it too. He's got a big one in that scene when he's chasing them down, and he copies some of Hawkeye's moves, shooting the bow. He uses it to detonate the gas tank in the BMW SUV that she and Yelena Belova are trying to escape in. It's all happening during that big chase scene relatively early in the movie. When she first goes back to Budapest, everyone posts all the Budapest jokes in the comments. What happens in Budapest stays in Budapest. She goes back there to find and recruit Yelena Belova for the mission to destroy what's left of the Black Widow program. Then they get attacked by the new Black Widows, led by Taskmaster, after which this scene probably happens where she asks Yelena about who that dude was, like who is that guy? And Yelena explains what's happened to the Black Widow program, how they've reinstated it, the Taskmaster's kind of in charge, but underneath Dreykov here, like the Dreykov's daughter reference from the first Avengers movie. They'll pay off that Easter egg too, but essentially they're brainwashing these new women even more to make them better killing machines, making them more controllable, kind of like the clones on Star Wars. That also kind of makes you think of Winter Soldier with the Hydra commands too, even though technically the Black Widow program isn't directly connected to Hydra. The Black Widow program was just from the Soviet government, the Russian government. Hydra was doing their own thing with their own cell of super soldiers that Winter Soldier was a part of. But after they get attacked by Taskmaster here, that's probably when they go to get help from Red Guardian to break him out of this Siberian prison. In all the trailers, we've seen them attacking this big facility when she's in that white costume from the comics. Then they go back to Melina's farm, where she's been living all these years. So that's where they're at in all these other family-based scenes here, too, when they're sitting around the dinner table. This is Melina's house. She said that all these years since the flashbacks that take place during the film, she's actually been raising pigs, experimenting on them, so she's kind of a scientist when she's not busy being a Black Widow. But she herself grew up as a Black Widow, just like Natasha did. It's just that in the fake family that they created when they were in a sleeper cell in America, she was the mother, Red Guardian was the father. Like they have that other funny scene when they start getting all sexy with each other, and Natasha and Yelena start getting grossed out and taking all those shots like, I'm gonna have to drink so much to block out this memory. The funny thing too is that Rachel Weisz just did a big interview where she talked about her character. Her real name is Melina Vostokov in the movie, but she said that there was supposed to be a big secret about what her last name was, because I think they didn't want people to easily be able to identify her as Iron Maiden from the comics, because that's who Melina Vostokov is, and she's kind of a Black Widow villain. So I think that's when people started to make all the big Taskmaster theories. There were a lot of people after that got out that were assuming that she was going to secretly be the new Taskmaster. But here's the thing, there are a couple other scenes later in this new trailer footage that imply that she is not Taskmaster. So the way they cut it is all over the place, just meant to be kind of confusing. But if you look at a couple key scenes here, for instance, you have this big Black Widow versus Taskmaster fight scene where they're falling through the air, and then after they hit the ground, you see Taskmaster whip out their sword from the comics. But in another scene, you see that Melina, also standing amidst this rubble in her white Black Widow uniform, then you also see her piloting the plane as it's crashing earlier in this scene, while Red Guardian is in the back of the plane fighting Taskmaster, throwing his shield at him, Captain America style. So it just seems like they're implying the Taskmaster is not Melina, it's someone else. That's why early on, 1 billion years ago at the Black Widow Comic-Con panel, remember how many years ago that was? They were hyping him up like he was an important character, but then you never saw him in any of the trailers. They even gave him his own poster, but still no trailer footage of any scenes of any kind with him. So it just seems like they're trying to avoid giving away some big twist with his character. And the early theory is that he is Taskmaster, but here's the deal. He's also supposed to be playing a separate character in the movie called Mason, and he's supposed to be Black Widow's version of Q, to make a James Bond reference, like her contact where she goes to get all of her supplies and weapons from, and it's implied that he has a romantic relationship with her or had one at some point in the past. So if he is Taskmaster secretly, it would also still be a big betrayal for her, which I think is what they're going for. Like, whoever Taskmaster really is, it's supposed to be someone who was close or is close with Natasha, so that when they do the face reveal, it winds up hitting that much harder. Like, Taskmaster face reveal at 10 million subs, you won't believe who this is. Oh, it's the dude that you've been sleeping with this whole time after the Hulk took off to Sakaar. Shocking twist. But then they have that other brand new scene of Yelena Belova making fun of Natasha for her superhero landing pose. Like, you're a total poser. I'm not a poser. Just making fun of some of the more comic booky things that they had Natasha doing in the Avengers movies. Like, why are you doing that when you're fighting? That's actually terrible fighting pose. You'd actually get taken out immediately if you did something like that in a fight. But there'll be some more Black Widow stuff happening when we get a little closer to the movie coming out, and it's going to overlap with the Loki episodes. Next big thing, obviously, is this week, Loki Episode 1 is dropping, so my full episode video for that will post on Wednesday. I also just posted my early non-spoilery review, so I'll link that at the end of this. Congratulations, Rodrigo Abro, you're the giveaway winner from my last big Marvel video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Everyone click here for that Loki Episode 1 video, and click here for my brand new Thor 4 Love and Thunder first look teaser. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys tonight.